Today on Hey, We're Talking.
Pork nuggets!
I wonder what time it is.
Nobody cares. Hey, everybody, and welcome to Hey, We're Talking. It's me, Scott Donnelly. I don't usually say my full name, but I will. Got Derek Tant over there. Hey, Derek.
Hey, what's going on, Scott?
Got some Bob Peel action going on over here.
What's up, gentlemen? Glad to be here.
Nobody knows when I'm looking at that because I'm looking at your faces on the screen. I wish it did a better job of understanding that I was looking at you individually as I was saying hello.
Yeah, I've got my camera right on top of my screen, and I always stare at you guys because we're having a conversation.
Yeah.
So I don't always stare
this is
unless
me
I'm
staring
talking
into
to
the
the
camera.
listeners. Yeah, you know,
Hi.
If I'm making like an individual video, I actually do look at the camera.
Yeah.
But
You're connecting with the audience.
But for the purposes of this video, I'm looking at your faces.
Yeah. If there was some way to put the camera right in the middle of your
I know.
faces,
I
it would
actually,
work.
well, what I used to have my camera sitting on a tripod.
Yeah.
That would actually sit right midway of the screen. That way, if I'm staring at you guys, it looks like I'm always looking in the camera. But
That's a great idea.
I didn't want to have that little setup. It was just a pain, though. It was just because it cut off half the screen with a little tripod there, and it just wasn't as convenient as I thought it would be. So,
Meanwhile, all the podcast listeners are going, we don't care.
And we
No,
can't
not
even
at
see-
all.
I don't even know what you look like. You just look like these cartoons in a blue background.
You know what the thing is, though? When you say that, you're like, oh, nobody cares about the video. And then we don't put up a video one week, and everybody's like, what the heck is going on?
yeah, that was pretty funny. We had a technical
everything.
issue with video, and Scott just put the audio up there with the kind of the Hey We're Talking logo,
Yeah.
and it would like
and do
flip or
dumb
whatever
stuff,
once
yeah.
in a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a lot of people like, hey, where's the video? What's going on? And it's like, hey, man, crap happens.
Yeah.
But if you are on the podcast and you haven't seen us on video, obviously you can do that. We're on YouTube. Go to just search Hey We're Talking on YouTube. Our page will pop up, and you can actually see what our ugly mugs look like.
You can watch us on Facebook, too.
That's
it's
as well.
It's a very audio-visual experience because there's obviously visual reactions. You can see our faces. You can see our expressions. I'm an expressive person.
Yeah.
I gesture wildly generally.
does.
And I think it adds a little something.
When you
Maybe.
did that, when you were like waving your hands like that, it's actually surprising how little you hit your microphone, because you do
That's
move your
true.
hands.
I'm very. I got that hand-eye coordination.
He's got
Video
spatial
games, baby.
recognition. He can feel
Yeah,
it.
video games. I've been playing
I just-
online poker a lot, so
And
I
that
just-
helps you with.
not really.
Wow. Hold on. Let me bluff this hand. Hold on. Hit me.
Yeah.
Or no, that's blackjack. Yeah. Give me a couple cards.
I
Flip a
actually
turn,
have
whatever.
been doing a little bit of Texas Hold'em on online.
You playing for real
on
money,
Facebook.
though?
It is for real money. It's global poker, and
Yeah.
it's like the only place now that actually uses real money, and you apparently you can. I put like $20 into it months like last year, and I played it down to like $10 because you can do like sit and go tournaments for like $1 or $2 or even 50 cents. So I've been playing it down, but I played it back up.
Nice.
So I'm actually I won a few little, I'm off at night.
I watched a whole entire documentary about this. It was really interesting too. It's these guys who play online poker professionally, like this their whole lives. They make hundreds of thousands of dollars playing online poker, and then once a year they go to Las Vegas and a bunch of them rent a house together. They had like 5 people or 6 people, and they just set up these supercomputers and all this networking and everything in this one room, and they would play as much as they could and try and get the money up for that house to a certain point. And then they would go play, they were legal, but they would go play real live poker at people's houses and stuff. And then every once in a while they'd go to the casinos. It was very interesting documentary.
That'd be fun.
I should find it. It was actually like a television show, so it had like 6 to 8 episodes of it. It was pretty interesting.
When Texas Hold'em poker was kind of in its height and its boom, if you will. We used to have tournaments at my house every Friday night.
Yeah,
every
it's fun.
single Friday night. We'd have up to like 30 people here, and it was a blast. I mean, it was so fun.
Did you guys play for real money?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone had a buy-in. Everyone got the same amount of chips. We did offer some. Most of the time, we offered a rebuy until the blinds got to a certain level. But it was awesome. I mean, you could, walk away with some decent cash playing at home. I'd love to get back into it, but I don't really know many people that play anymore.
On cue, it would be nice if the police just broke in the door right behind Bob, took him away from illegal gambling in his house.
My family.
It was amongst friends, and we were just gambling food.
Right. Yeah, my family, we sometimes, like on holidays and gatherings, a few of us will do a little Texas Hold'em tourney. And my grandmother, who was a notorious gambler, she loves to play, but she's a slot machine gambler, right? Okay. So she loves the Texas Hold'em, but she wants to be in on every single hand. She loves the action.
Yeah.
All right. I like to raise pre-flop. All right. That's good strategy. It's just sound strategy. And she always just gets pissed off at me. And every time we play, we're like, ain't nobody gonna be able to play with Derek because he just raises all the time. And I'm like, that's why you fold. You fold, Grandma. You learn how to play good.
Yeah, I mean, I was to the point where I was reading books and I was, watching videos and strategy and all this stuff. No, I mean, there's a lot of mental stuff to it that you don't think about. Derek mentions raising it before the flop. That's a big deal. But you have to have a cards within a certain range unless you plan on going and bluffing. And I mean, there's a strange algorithm to all of it, and once you start to learn that, you can actually make some money at it.
And that's why when we played at our friend's house in Michigan, and they played with like serious people, and he asked me if I wanted to play. I was like, yeah, sure. So I played, and I have no strategy. So all these guys that have all these strategies, they don't know what I'm going to do, so they're getting mad at me. And I won. I won the tournament because they didn't know what to do. I ended up walking out of there with a couple $100, and this guy, he literally was like ready to fight me. He got so mad because I would just be like, I'd go in on like the most dump hand and just do this crazy stuff, and I ended up winning, and he was just like, this is bull crap. He doesn't even know what he's doing. And I was like, sorry.
Yeah.
Well, you can't get mad about that. I mean, everybody knows if you have a new player around, you have to be cautious because they're not going to be reading anything.
They don't follow all the rules.
No, they don't. It's a totally different thing. They're just like, who cares? I'll try it. And then they get lucky.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of people come in, never played in their lives. We had to explain the game as the game was going on. And they wound up winning because they're just like, they don't know what they're doing. They're not overthinking it. And they had a little bit of luck.
I'll never forget how angry that guy was. It was fantastic. Go ahead.
I mean, that's the thing, because poker is a game that if you have skill and experience, your ability to win increases. But they always forget you got that little bit of luck. There's always a little bit of luck. And and I get mad too. I mean, you get mad because you lose, but but there's when you go when somebody goes all in and you call and it's on the flop and you have the higher hand and then they suck out the win on the turn or the river, that's when you get mad. I'm like I beat you. I mean, it's like I would have beat you, but you got lucky. So
part of it too is like, I think that what ends up happening is a lot of times if you do go all in, or like if you have the small stack and you go all in, there's a lot of people that are like, this idiot, I'm just going to take his stack from him. He's not going to win this hand. I can see he has no chance. And they want to see what you have almost. It's almost like they want to prove that you're an idiot.
Right.
And then you win and they get all ticked off. It's pretty funny. Anyway. Yeah, I'm not a huge gambler. They just made it legal to do all these online betting deals in like the football and all that stuff. What was the name of that thing? What is it called?
Fantasy.
Yeah.
King
FanDuel and something Kings.
FanDuel.
Yeah, DraftKings.
DraftKings. There you go.
So all that stuff, I guess the Supreme Court, like a couple weeks ago, said that that's totally legal.
Yep.
And so that's going to change things. They were saying that you can actually, the things that I was hearing people talk about was they believe the way the ruling came down is that an actual stadium, so let's say, for example, the Las Vegas Raiders, when the football team moves to Las Vegas, they could have a sports book in the stadium as long as it's, as long as it's a legal sports gambling deal, they can do that in the stadiums. And so they're saying a lot of people are probably in these sports arenas just going to put a betting thing in there because it's extra revenue for the stadium.
Yeah.
So people are like, this is horrible. This is going to change the game forever. And I'm like, people have been betting on sports forever. How is it going to change anything? Do you think it's going to change anything?
I don't think so. I just think everything's just going to make things more expensive. I don't know. I don't do sports betting. I don't.
Well, DraftKings is a little different because you're basically playing fantasy football, but you're putting money on it in a way.
Well, yeah, fantasy football. Yeah, I totally get that. I like that. I like to play fantasy football, but I don't like prop bets like the betting the spread. It's like,
no.
Hey, yeah, I'm gonna give you 2 points on the Raiders. I don't even know how. I don't even know how the terminology works.
Right?
Is -2 or +1? What? I don't get it. I don't do
the Raiders
that
this
stuff
year
either.
are 8-3 versus the spread. So I'm gonna take them. And I'm gonna give you those points. I'm like, I don't even know what you mean. I don't even.
Well, that's part of the thing they're worried about is they think that, so all the conspiracy theorists, which I got to admit, sometimes it's easy to get hooked into these things, but they say, if there's a game and it's coming down to the last, it's like trash minutes where somebody's way up or something like that. If the sports books are in the arena, they could like radio down to the coach and be like, hey, just kick a field goal here. So we don't bust the spread. Yeah. Because they don't want to lose all that money.
But is that stuff gonna? I mean, that stuff could have been happening all along anyway.
I know exactly. So, this is my whole point. I mean, when you're watching something and you're yelling at the refs, sometimes isn't there part of you that goes, "These guys are totally fixing this game."
That's why I love it when Bill Belichick he never goes for field goals. He just touchdown every time. That's his goal.
I know
because it's like. He doesn't care about any of that.
When you think about it is in some ways, it's really stupid. If you think that your football team can't score a touchdown, if you're within field goal range, I know that there's also like strategy involved with kicking the 3, but there's this other part of me that's like, if you have so little faith in your team to score, I would just go for it every time too. Be like arena football. It'd be interesting. Well, someday that's going to happen. There's going to be a bunch of teams that do that.
Well, I mean, you mentioned arena football, but I guess the XFL is going to start making a comeback.
Yes, they are.
So
like 2020.
Vince McMahon's league, I guess they're going to try coming back and doing it all over again with the state of the NFL and where it's at and dipping ratings and stuff like that and more complicated rules.
Well,
I think
they're all going to, everybody's going to come back now, right? Because the NFL said you have to stand up for the anthem. So everyone's going to come back. I'm kidding, they're not. And now supposedly there's a bunch of players that are saying that they're going to do something else instead of kneeling. They're going to do something else. So I'm like, okay.
Well, the ruling with the NFL basically said if you're not going to stand there, then you have to stay in the locker room,
which is totally fine. I don't see why anybody's upset about that. Go ahead. I mean, you can still protest. Plus, after the game, you can say, hey, I didn't come out for the anthem because of this. You still can get lots of publicity out of it. Yeah, so it's an interesting thing. But yeah, as far as the sports betting, I've never been one to gamble on sports. I've tried slot machines. Derek, you mentioned your grandma. That's a slot person. Stupidity. I tried that when I went to Vegas last year or whenever I went. It wasn't that exciting for me. Yeah. I've literally have 2 casinos within 15 minutes of me, and I've been to one just because work had like a meeting there. Other than that, I don't really care. I mean, I would love to jump into like a Texas Hold'em tournament at some point, but I got other stuff to do. It's fun to gamble with other people's money, but not your own.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. It'd be $100 pulls on the slot machine if it was somebody else's money.
Hey, you know what isn't a gamble? Huh? Do you guys know what? Yeah, that's right. Numa Coffee. Huh? Numa Coffee is not a gamble. It's fantastic. And Chris Bean over at Numa Coffee, I had some fantastic house blend coffee today. Did you guys each have Numa today or no? You don't have to say yes, but did you have any Numa?
No, I have not had Numa this week.
Today I did not.
Okay.
But there's always tomorrow. I was fishing this morning, so I grabbed some coffee on the go. And
probably got Dunkin' Donuts or some crap like that.
I did.
You couldn't get Starbucks today, huh?
I could have.
No, you can't because it's closed.
Oh, is it closed?
Today's the day they teach everybody how to be racially sensitive. They closed all their stores, 8,000 stores. Now, when you hear this, it's going to be way past. But today, the day we're recording this, they closed all their stores, 8,000 stores today.
All right.
The full day. I didn't even know.
What?
Let's teach everybody how to be a decent human being.
So anyway, Numa Coffee. Sorry to embroil Chris Bean's Numa Coffee in political news, but you want to go to numacoffee.com. That is PNEUMA coffee.com. And look at all the fantastic, freshly roasted coffees that Chris Bean has. They're fantastic. He puts a lot of thought and care into each one of those beans. I think he takes each one of them individually and nurtures that bean and makes sure it's perfect for you.
I think every bean gets a kiss from Chris Bean just right before he roasts it.
I like that idea, but I don't know if he's going to like that we said we
or just a little nose.
Yeah, a little Eskimo kiss.
You know,
what about a butterfly kiss?
Aw.
Oh, sounds like an inefficient use of his time, but I do like the idea that he cares so much.
Anyway, if you go to numacoffee.com, just pick out your coffee. It's awesome. Trust us. It's fantastic. If Derek likes it, you know it's good, okay?
Oh, yeah.
And when you go there, if you put in the coupon code HWT for Hey We're Talking, you get 20% off your order, which is fantastic. What a great deal. I think all of us have used that code. Have you used it, Derek?
I ordered before the code was available, so I didn't use it. But I'll order again.
Yeah, make sure you do that, man.
So I placed 2 orders. The first order was before the code existed. Second time, I'm like, heck yeah.
Yeah, dude.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
I won't do it again. Just a one-time thing. But I do have to order some more Numa coffee.
So make sure you go to numacoffee.com, put in the coupon code HWT. And by the way, you can see Chris doing some fantastic work in actual brewing of coffee by going to his YouTube page, which is Bean Piper. Is that right?
Yeah. Bean Piper.
Bean Piper. So it's Chris Bean Piper. Check out his brewing videos. He's got some cool stuff going on there. Mm-hmm. And just generally, Chris is just a fantastic individual. I've said fantastic too many times within this little bit of time here. So when we come back, we'll have another fantastic topic for you guys.
Hey We're Talking is brought to you by Numa Coffee. Head over to numacoffee.com and use the coupon code HWT to receive 20% off. That's numacoffee.com, PNEUMA coffee.com.
We are back after a short break. A commercial timeout. We got to get rid of some of these commercials. Don't you agree, Bob?
I've been saying that for a while. I don't know why you keep plugging them in here. If you just take some time to record a new one.
Well, I'm thinking about having you guys help me make some commercials.
That'd be cute.
Cute? No, I want to use I want to have your voices on them instead of hearing mine again.
Nobody wants my voice.
I actually made a commercial for my hospital over the
I know you have bragged about it nonstop since you did it. We've heard
nonstop.
Yeah, Bob, has he not bragged about this commercial like incessantly?
Derek, the last 86 messages in Voxer have been you talking about that commercial. You sent me the commercial.
I'm just kidding. I've never heard the commercial. You sent it to Bob?
I don't think so.
No, he didn't.
Oh, I was going to be kind of jealous.
That was just kind of a joke right there.
Oh,
you know,
and I stomped all over it.
Why haven't we heard the commercial, Derek?
Because it was in December and it was a long time ago, and
yet you're still talking about it.
I'm still talking about it. I haven't mentioned it in 6 months.
I know. Jerks. I'm just messing with you. Okay.
Calm down.
Jeez, Derek. What a story. Okay, Derek. You have the dubious honor of starting our Master Debaters segment today.
Yeah, Master Debaters.
It's your idea.
Well, does anybody even know what Master Debaters is? Maybe we got new listeners.
Boy.
Maybe they don't even know what it is.
I know all about it.
Master Debaters is
our segment. Yes.
What is it?
The segment is we pick some ludicrous topic to debate, and then we debate it because it's ludicrous. And then the person who picks the topic gets to decide who wins. That didn't sound very exciting. I should do a better job of that. Let me do that again.
All right, do that again.
No?
Go
ahead, Derek. If you want to... Derek, I feel like you'll give it all the gusto that it needs. So tell everybody what Master Debaters is.
Well, it's what you said. We're gonna... I'm the Master Debater master today. I'm the topic picker. I'm going to ask a question.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask a question, all right? Which can have two sides to it. That's how things usually are. There's two sides.
Right.
All right? And usually, we're all of similar mind. Usually we agree on a lot of things. But
that's funny too.
But a lot of times we don't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose them. I'm going to force them to take one side on this question, and they have to argue for it, whether or not they even believe it.
Okay.
Whether or not they believe in it, we got to argue for it.
Yeah.
And they got to bring it. It's like a public defender. You might have a murdering scumbag who is guilty, but you got to give him a vigorous defense because that's the law.
You could be Stormy Daniels' lawyer, and you got to figure out a way to defend her character.
You may not believe in the flat earth, but I had to give it a vigorous defense.
Yes, you did.
So that's this. All right. So,
okay.
Can everybody show me real quick what's on your left wrist? Is there anything? All right. Well, y'all don't have anything. I am wearing a fitness band, like a little fitness thing. Yeah. All right. So this is a relatively new phenomenon. My question is, we've had, everybody wears watch. Everybody used to wear watches. All right. And now fitness watches. Shut the front door, Bob, and listen to my
That was a
question.
good catch. If you could have seen his face, it was so close to just... His mouth was like... Okay, go ahead. Yeah, that was rude, Bob. Please.
Sorry, don't say that word.
Go ahead, Derek. I'm looking right at you on the screen. My eyes are fixed on you. Go ahead.
I'm affixed upon you, Derek.
Okay, come on. Derek, finish the left hand or whatever.
Right.
Watches. Okay, we're with you.
All right, watches. People used to wear them all the time. I used to wear a watch all the time. Now I'm wearing like a little fitness tracker. So, are smartwatches and fitness trackers going to completely phase out watches in the near future? I would like to know what you think. Scott, I want you to take the side that fitness trackers, smartwatches are going to completely destroy watches.
Okay.
And Bob, I want you to take the side that, watches are still a thing and they're going to be around.
All right. Who do you want to start, Derek?
Let's go with Bob.
Okay, Bob.
So since the beginning of time, people have always wanted a way to track any section of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And most people know, and back in the early days, people knew that the sun would actually rise and the sun would set. They learned to read the sun and determine what part of the day it is.
Yeah.
And all of that the cavemen and everybody used at that point to tell time, for some reason, there was always a need and a gravitation towards time, wanting to know what time it is, how much of the day they have left, how much time it took them to do a certain task. And that's something I think that will live on forever. That's something that we see today, the same thing. Everybody says, you've got to be on time. How much time do you have? Got to have quality time. Got to have this kind of time.
Okay, Bob, I'm going to stop you right there. We're not arguing about the concept of time. I want to know smartwatches versus traditional watches.
Well, and I was getting to the point here was everybody's always had a need to find time. And that's why I think a traditional watch will always be around, just for the fact that people want to know the time. So if you look at businessmen and things like that, it always seems to become some kind of classy thing to have a watch on, a traditional watch, not an Apple Watch or any of that stuff, but always to have a traditional watch. That's always been one of those things that businessmen have to have. So I think just looking at the state of where we are, eventually all this technology winds up ending. So if you've got an Apple Watch or a Fitbit or any of that stuff, eventually the software in that thing is going to go extinct. Apple's going to slow down their watches or their products. But the thing is, with a traditional watch, all you do is replace the battery, or if you have a watch like me that actually gets recharged by the sun, it'll never go away.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you, Bob.
All right. Let me just say this right off the bat. One thing that I think is wrong with Bob's argument completely is this. We have this group of people coming up behind us called millennials. And millennials, number one, don't care about time. They do not care. They live their lives the way they want to. In fact, there are businesses that have adjusted the work times that they have these millennials coming in because they just show up at 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning for their job. They don't care about time anymore. That's number one. Number two, with millennials, they are not into status symbols. They don't care about possessions. They don't buy cars. They don't buy houses. They're transient. They do whatever they want. They live freely. And one of the things that you'll notice with people that have watches, they're constantly looking at that watch. It's like people with their phones. They keep looking at these things. They get addicted to knowing what time it is. You just looked at your watch 5 seconds ago, man. It's not that. I think the need for a watch is out of style because, number one, I already mentioned, phones. Who has a watch on anymore? All you have to do is look at your phone. I know right now it's 4:45. I just glanced at my phone. It's sitting right here. I don't need a watch. And you can set timers and reminders. I think that having something attached to your wrist is a bit cumbersome. It's almost like handcuffs. It's like a chain. It makes you feel like you're hooked onto something. You become a slave to that thing. So I think that these new watches, I think they'll advance even more. I don't even think they'll be on your wrist anymore. Pretty soon they're going to put a chip in your head and you'll have all the information you need right at your fingertips, right in front of your eyes. So
that's a whole nother argument there.
It is. But for now, the best that they can do is strap that digital watch to you. I think eventually these status symbols, which you say business people want to wear, will become extinct because they will go the way of the dinosaur, which is the common businessman now. Because millennials and these people behind us, they have no desire for these things.
All right, Bob. Y'all both heard each other's intros. Why don't you dive into the meat of your argument? Let's hear it, Bob.
Well, you mentioned it a couple times, the millennials. Eventually,
yeah, by the way, if you were born in 1980 or later, you're a millennial. Bob and I, Scott, technically are millennials.
No, we're not.
Oh,
they keep changing. They keep changing it. That's
I
a whole
can't do
nother
a show with millennials.
That's a whole nother argument we're gonna have to get on.
You're both fired.
They keep changing. I'm Generation X, and you are too, Derek. So we were right on that verge of millennial / Generation X.
Okay.
Which I like being Generation X
Gen
better.
X, baby.
So here's the thing, though. The millennial mindset is happening right now, but eventually that mindset will transition just as, and you can't say that it won't, just as every other tradition in the way people are changes. So right now you've still got a lot of people that are not millennials that wear watches, that enjoy it, that like the status piece of it, that like the availability to tell time without pulling their phone out of their pocket. And then you've got after the millennial generation continues on and grows up, you're going to have more generations beyond that. The reason that watches are still around is because there's still a need for people to tell time, a need for people to have that enjoyment and you know, like a specific device and work hard to get towards a specific device. So watches will always be around. As much as we said many years ago that they would fade away, you've still got two different sets here. People that want the smartwatches and the Fitbits and things of that nature, and then people that just stick with the traditional watches.
Okay, so here's the thing. You're actually kind of arguing my point for me, because you're saying people want to have watches. You're not saying they want traditional watches. They do.
Well, I said traditional
watches.
watches.
But watches, if they want watches, they're going to go with smartwatches. In fact, traditional watches are now starting to adopt little pieces of smartwatch technology into them. So I think that the smartwatches are not going to go anywhere for a while until they come up with something better. And then I think watches are just going to go by the wayside until they become cool, like collecting vinyl. In like 50, 60 years, people will start collecting watches.
Yeah, but the thing is, you're going to see this technology. People wind up getting bored of the technology. That's why Apple is struggling selling the iPhone X and stuff like
That's
that.
not
Because
true, though.
It is true.
It's not true.
That's why they've are going to discontinue the iPhone X, because it's not selling at its
Bob,
price
you
point.
are wrong.
Anyways, that's a totally
like a
different
flat
thing.
out lie. Fake news, by the way,
That's
guys.
not. No,
Fake
that is not.
news.
Go
Fake news.
read it. Apple is going to stop
Apple's
producing
not going to make iPhone 10 anymore.
They're not going to.
They're going to make
Because
iPhone
it's not-
11, right?
It's not. No, it's the iPhone X. They're rethinking it because the iPhone X did not sell anywhere near any of the other phones.
Oh my gosh.
So, anyways, but eventually technology
news.
gets stale. Technology gets stale, and the technology of a watch, which is simple, easy, doesn't need to be rebooted, doesn't have a cracked screen or any of that stuff, that's always going to be around.
You can crack a watch screen on a traditional watch.
You know how hard that is to do?
As hard as it is to crack a watch screen on a smartwatch.
No, it's way, way different. Way different.
I don't know. I think you're incorrect. You've done what, Derek? You've cracked a screen?
On my watch.
On your regular watch?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I've basically won this debate already, so I don't even know what else I have to say here.
Well, that's fine. Keep declaring it. That's fine. You always do.
I know, but I think I really did win this one so far.
Do you have any closing thoughts, Bob?
Nope.
He rests his case.
Because everything I say, he's got something to say back at. So
that's what a debate is.
No, I get it. But
I'm not trying to.
news,
I'm not
all
trying to
that
crush
stuff,
you.
no,
trying to
it's
crush
good.
you.
I'm-
I love you. See, this is the problem with master debaters. He thinks I don't love him anymore.
There's a certain crowd of people that will always have a traditional watch as opposed to some kind of techie watch.
Old fuddy-duddies.
It's always going to be there. No, it's always going to be there. Because what's going to happen is the millennials, just as they did with vinyl, and as I hear they're starting to do cassettes, they're going to start wanting the.
You're stealing my argument. You're reinforcing what I just said.
But they're going to want these traditional watches instead of the techie watches. So yes, that is in part why tech watches will always be.
So what you're telling me is I won the argument for you.
Traditional watches will always be around.
All right, I give up. Derek,
okay.
What do you think?
All right, so here's my verdict. All right, so Bob pissed me off. No, he didn't really piss me off, but Bob started the argument talking about caveman time, and I was like, all right, he loses. All right, but but he started to win me back, right?
Oh boy.
And then Scott, yeah, I mean, y'all both brought up arguments. First of all, if it were me arguing, I had a bunch of different arguments in my head for both sides that a lot of you guys didn't even hit on. Well, like, because the new smartwatches, they now look a lot like traditional watches. You can get nice customized bands, and you can't even tell. And sometimes the display makes it mimic like a traditional watch. And Scott, something that I didn't know is what you said is that now sometimes traditional watches, they're now starting to take on the features of smartwatches.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Can you name a watch that does that? Because I don't know of any.
I don't know the actual manufacturer, but I've watched a couple of them.
#fake news.
No, I've watched. I was looking. I bought. Listen, I had I had an Apple Watch when I had an iPhone, and I sold that. And then I had a Samsung watch when I got my Android, and I ended up not liking either one of them. Okay, this is like being real here. So I looked
because you wanted a traditional watch.
No. Okay. But I did look for other watches because I thought to myself, part of the reason I wanted it, though, was for the fitness tracker part of it, okay? Because I don't like Fitbits. I think that they're weird. And so I wanted to have something that had a little bit more information, could watch my pulse and my heart rate and all that kind of stuff. And so I ended up finding a watch that was made by this. Again, it's by these really expensive people, though, okay? So like really fancy watches. But they connect to your Android and they do certain things connected to the Android. But it's technically a regular watch, but it has something inside of it that also allows it to do other features.
Yeah.
But it's really expensive.
That's probably going to be the future. I think traditional watch companies are probably going to combine with technology. But Scott, the strongest argument that you gave was that, who looks at looking at your track the time, you should look at your phone. And that's what a lot of people do. So I think both of y'all took the argument in different places that I wasn't expecting to. It became an iPhone X debate.
Yeah.
But just by the merits of your arguments, I'm going to give this to Scott. Congratulations, Scott.
Yeah.
You are the master debater.
Even though here's the funny thing, Bob and I both nothing on our arms.
Yeah, I mean, but here's the thing. I have a fitness tracker on my arm that I've been wearing for a couple of years, and I don't see myself going back to. He's got
a Series 3 watch. Is it for your wife?
Yep.
Yeah. Her birthday's coming up. That's why. Does she not know it? She's not going to watch this before then. That's right. Okay.
Yeah, her birthday's actually tomorrow, and this won't post till later. Okay. So yeah, yeah.
Listen, I actually liked both of the watches that I used, but I found myself not taking advantage of all the abilities that they had.
Well, she'll take advantage of it, or else I'll take advantage of it.
Well, she's going to take advantage of the fitness stuff for sure, because she's like a cross-fitting crazy person.
Yeah, she's got this obsessive gym thing. Yeah, but that's okay.
I think watches are going to kind of go the way of the calculator.
Probably.
I don't think so.
We have a calculator on our phone now.
Master debater's over, but I don't think so. I still think there's something to a traditional watch that people really like.
Yeah.
I agree, I think but I just think it's going to be so much less that.
Yeah, I think the common man, here's my real thought on this. I think the common man and woman will probably not buy traditional watches, but people that have a lot of money, that are wealthy, that's still a status symbol and a style thing. So there's a lot of people that buy really expensive watches, but I think like the days of buying a Casio at the drugstore are over.
Oh yeah, that's over with. But now your bottom line,
calculator watch.
Yeah,
exactly.
Those
solar-powered calculator watch.
Yes. But realistically, if the millennials do kind of start to decide to, hey, we want to get a traditional watch, that will blow up. That's going to be. We'll see. A big thing, just as they did with vinyl, and I think the vinyl thing's kind of fading away for the millennials
vinyl
now.
Was more us, wasn't it?
Well, no, we've enjoyed our vinyl, and I still collect vinyl, and I still have them. They're right in my family room.
Vinyl never went away, though.
No,
thing. It never went away, and it's back.
But the thing is,
better than ever.
But the thing is, millennials, they just started to collect vinyl, but I think that phase for them is gone, and they're onto something else, and who knows what it is yet.
Yeah,
8-track. There you go.
Well, I've got a couple cassettes that I just pulled out of the trash, so
I saw that.
Today's episode of Hey We're Talking is brought to you by our sponsor, Numa Coffee. Go to numacoffee.com. That's PNEUMA coffee.com. At checkout, make sure to type in the code HWT for a 20% discount.
Hey, we are back, and just so you guys know, as we're recording this, it is actually just one day after Memorial Day. So we decided we were going to kind of talk a little bit about our Memorial Day, maybe get into some of the activities we may have experienced and things like that. So Here we go. So when you listen to this, you're probably going to be like, why are they talking about Memorial Day? Well, because it was yesterday, okay?
To us.
Yeah. The veil has been removed. We've done this many times now. We've told you this is not happening live. So there you go. It happened yesterday. And by the way, hopefully they may have actually won the Stanley Cup by now, but the Vegas Golden Knights won the first game of the Stanley Cup final last night. Nobody cares except for me.
No, I've got so much I could say. Well, when you steal players from every other team.
They gave them up.
Yeah.
Every team exposed them. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Memorial Day.
All right. Well, I'll kick it off.
Okay, do it, Derek. Talk to us.
I worked the weekend before Memorial Day, so I got off Memorial Day morning. I finished my work cycle on Memorial Day morning.
Okay.
And I was doing like a short fast. So I hadn't eaten anything for 3 days. So I actually went and bought some chicken.
A short fast is 3 days without food.
Yeah. I went and got some chicken. I went and got some pork nuggets. Carnitas
nuggets?
Well, they're like little pieces
chopped
of
up
pork.
Pieces of pork?
Yeah.
Okay.
They were good. Yeah, so that morning I cooked myself I smoked some chicken leg quarters on the smoker and then
what's it called?
Pellet grill.
But the name
Camp Chef.
Camp Chef.
Yeah, Camp Chef. And if Camp Chef wants to sponsor talking, he's just at gmail.com.
You should say it better. What if they actually want to sponsor us?
What if they do? Yeah.
Come on,
hey, Camp Chef. I love your product. I use it in real life.
Yes.
So if you would like to sponsor the show, we will continue to plug your product and maybe try to get other people to buy it as well.
I want to buy one. So if they sponsor the show, I'll buy it.
I love it. Yeah. So there you go. Hey, we're talking at gmail.com.
Boom.
You hook us up.
Okay. So pork nuggets and chicken.
Yeah. I cooked some pork nuggets and chicken on, I cooked the chicken on the morning, and then for supper, I cooked the pork nuggets, and I thought everybody would like it. But what I did this time, instead of just seasoning it, I added a little bit of barbecue sauce, and it charred it up a little bit. It got some of those burn ends. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
But my wife and my son were like, I don't like this char.
Did you go,
hey, good.
more pork nuggets for me then?
That is exactly what happened. So it was kind of a win-lose situation. I won.
Yeah, you totally won, dude.
Yeah, you did.
You got to eat all the pork nuggets you wanted.
Yeah, I'm going to have some leftover chicken and pork nuggets whenever we're done with this. But they were like, I don't like it. So
that's too bad. I'm sorry.
Which is a rare miss for me.
Okay.
A rare miss on the Camp Chef pellet grill.
I did the most boring Memorial Day thing you could possibly do, and that was I made hot dogs. That's it. We just had hot dogs. Literally, just Cheryl and I had hot dogs. We had
Did you grill them at least?
No, that's the even worse part.
What did you do?
Hebrew National hot dogs.
Did you boil them? Did you boil them?
No, we cooked them on the stove.
Like with
in
a
a pan.
fork?
Yeah, in a pan.
Oh.
In a pan.
Yeah, so you boiled them.
No, just like in a pan.
You sauteed them.
No, I didn't put anything in it. I just put them in a pan, turned up the heat, and let them roast on the pan until they got bubbly.
Yeah, that's called sauteing. You didn't put any water or anything in there?
No.
Okay, so you sauteed it.
All right, Chef Derek.
Who the heck sautés hot dogs on Memorial Day?
The Donnellys
dogs.
do. The Donnellys do, apparently.
You could have.
It was pouring rain.
At least it's better than microwaving or boiling them.
Yeah, we didn't boil them. I was like, man, if I have to tell these guys I boiled the hot dogs, I'm really going to get it. So
I don't know. Boiling's got to be better than sautéing them.
No, they were good.
I don't know.
It's just like cooking them on the grill, except for there's no flame on it.
I'm with you, Scott. I'm with you. You seared them.
Yes.
You seared them.
Exactly. See?
But
did you add some eggs to them? Chop them up and put them in some eggs?
That actually sounds good. I would try that.
Oh, I've had that since I was a kid, man.
Really? Hot dogs and eggs?
Oh, yeah.
I want to try that now.
Chop up some hot dogs, add some cheddar cheese to it.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's good. Put some Louisiana hot sauce on it.
Oh, yes.
Or Tabasco.
I wish I remembered the name of the hot sauce I use. It's got like a wood top on it. wood round top. I think it starts with a C. I always forget the name of it.
Is
Cholula?
is it a Hispanic one?
Yeah.
Or a,
Cholula?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I love
Cholula.
that stuff. It's fantastic. I
That
put
is
it on
good.
everything right now. I'm in love with it.
I
didn't
also
put it
like,
on my hot dog though.
I love Tapatio, which is
I have that too.
That's a little bit spicier. That's good though.
I'm gonna try that next. After I get done with this one, I'm using that.
So
There is-
I
By the way, Bob, I just want to
Go
interrupt
ahead.
you. There's a Christian rapper who has a rap song about Tapatio.
Really?
And it's weird. I like the beat and the lyrics are hilarious. Check out Tapatio.
Okay. We'll
The
have to find
song,
that.
the song when we're done with it. You're gonna love it. I think you're gonna love it.
Okay. Bob, probably you did the best thing out of all of us. I already know because I saw pictures. What did you make?
Yeah, I smoked 3 slabs of ribs. So of course I go and peel the membrane off the back of the ribs, do a dry rub. Usually I'll brine them. Basically,
Was
that's
the
where you have
membrane insane?
It was insane, really, really insane.
Okay.
But you have to take it off of there,
Yes.
because it's no good. So usually I will do a brine with my ribs, but I did not this time.
Uh-oh.
That's basically a salt brine where you put it in salt water and let
Yeah.
it sit and refresh the water and all that stuff. I didn't do it this time. And I just did a nice dry rub on all of them. And I really only smoked it. I smoked it at 225 degrees. Took about 5 hours.
That's not bad.
Normally, I'd like to do it about 180 degrees, and that takes about 8 to 10 hours. But my time was a little. I didn't have 8 to 10 hours to do that this time. Charcoal smoker. Use some apple wood. Every hour, I'd go and spray it down with applesauce or applesauce. Yeah,
You
spray
just
it.
chunk applesauce sprayed right out the front of it.
Actually, that gave me
That's
an
not
idea.
a bad idea.
To actually rub applesauce onto them as they're cooking.
It might be good.
That could be good, but I would spray them with apple juice.
Yeah.
That way you have a little bit more of the apple flavor and a little bit of sweetness, and of course I use apple wood.
What about
and
hard
it-
apple cider? I wonder what that would be like.
Oh, that's a good idea too.
That is a good idea.
Because the alcohol will actually break down the meat, the membrane in the meat, and make it even more tender. I bet.
I got like 4 gallons of that stuff just sitting in there. It's like
You
it's
do.
like 15% alcohol.
You need to spray it on some ribs, dude. You know who beat all of us? Sparkle-ish. What's her name? Is it Jen?
Jenny?
Yeah, Jenny.
Jenny?
Dude, did you see any of her stuff? She
Yeah,
stayed
she
up
did like
all
a-
night.
Yeah, doing a brisket, I believe.
Brisket, and I think there was something else. I think it might have been a chicken or something like that. I can't remember though.
Yeah, and I think she wound up doing some fish too.
Yes, fish. That's what it was. It was fish
Yeah.
and brisket. But she stayed up all night working on that thing. Bill used to do that too. When we first moved here, he would grill pork butt, or not grill it, but smoke it.
Smoke it.
And he would be like, "Hey, since I'm going to make this, you should come over and help me stay up all night." And I was like, "All night?" And so we would well, it was so good. It was okay. We just hung out and laughed and farted and stuff like that, what guys do.
Well, yeah, pretty much.
So anyway, but that's fantastic. He's figured out now he doesn't need to do it all night, which is a lot easier.
Which if I do a pork butt or a pork shoulder, which that's my next thing to do, because I'm always smoking all summer. I'm always putting stuff in the smoker. I'll actually get it all prepared, let it rest for 2 days with the dry rub on it and all that stuff, and then I'll get up at 3 a.m. and throw it on the smoker, and then I'll go back to bed.
Yeah.
And then by the time I wake up at normal time, which is usually 6 o'clock, then I'll go out there, add some wood to it, and just kind of keep it going. So to me, there's no need to stay up all night. Typically, when I do the smoke stuff, I like to have it done probably about 3 to 4 o'clock. Then I wrap everything in foil and I literally let it rest for 1 to 2 hours after it's done smoking. Because if you wrap it in aluminum foil, it'll continue to
it still
cook a
cooks.
little bit
Yeah.
within that aluminum foil by its own heat, and it becomes a lot more moist and juicy. And so
He just
it's
said moist.
very moist. But yeah, I mean that's kind of the way I do that, and that'll be my next thing. But yeah, the 3 slabs of ribs they were phenomenal. I mean I was very happy with them. A lot of people think that ribs, they're just supposed to fall off the bone and that's actually not true.
No.
If they fall off the bone, that means they're overcooked. So a lot of these where you could simply peel the ribs apart, but then you actually had to bite to pull the meat off the bone, and that's how they're supposed to be. So they came out really good.
Okay, here's a way that I can get my man card back for not doing a good job by cooking hot dogs on the stove.
I don't know about that.
The weekend before that, I got these ribeye steaks, and I cooked them a little slower than I usually would, and I ate them medium rare, I think, and they were so good. I usually get a little freaked out when it's too red. It wasn't like that thing where a lot of the juice comes out and it's like red juice and looks, I know it's not blood, but everybody's like, it's too bloody, I can't eat it. I did it just to the point where it wasn't pouring all that stuff out. It was one of the best steaks I've ever had.
If you get the internal temperature about 155, you should be good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of like your medium rare. I mean, if you hit 160, you're medium, but 155, between 155 and 160 for the internal temperature and the thickest part of the meat, I mean, that's going to be awesome.
I grew up in a home where my dad basically turned any kind of red meat into hockey pucks, and that's the way I grew up eating meat. I thought that's how you did it. And then I had somebody, I think it was probably Bill, because he would yell at me when I made steak. He was like, "What did you do to this thing?" And I was like, "I cooked it." He was like, "Dude, it's gray on the inside." And I go, "Yeah, that means it's done." He goes, "No, it's terrible." So I started doing medium well, and he was just like, "Oh, dude, that's still disgusting." And so eventually I finally have gotten to the point where I went from medium rare, medium, and I keep inching back a little bit. And the taste, this is the thing I try to explain to people. The taste is so different. It's unbelievable, the difference of taste when you don't cook it as much as you think you have to.
Well, here's something strange that I don't know if you guys know, but you're really not supposed to eat a steak at piping hot off the grill either.
No, you let it rest.
Let it rest to room temperature, and then you eat it.
That's tough. I don't know if I could do room temperature. I know, but
that's when you're going to get most of your flavor and all that stuff. So, I mean, it's pretty, cooking steak and smoking ribs and all that stuff. It's pretty fun. It's like a hobby in its own. Tomorrow, considering it's my wife's birthday, I will go to the butcher and I'm going to get some ribeyes. They'll probably be 8 to 12 ounce ribeyes, depending on how thick he makes them. But I mean, that's going to be dinner for tomorrow. So I'll wind up throwing those on the grill, and I've got my internal temperature, thermometer that I just plug in there, make sure it's right. Put a little butter and olive oil over the top of them before I grill them. They'll wind up being good.
All right,
Derek, take us home.
I'm going to take us home. How about all right. So I like the brisket discussion and the smoking discussion, the idea of having to stay up. I realize that, a long time ago, and even up to today, that was part of the tradition of smoking. You got to stay up and stoke the fire, and it's a lot of men, and you're drinking beer.
Yep.
But a lot of people can't do that. I gotta work sometimes. I sometimes cook brisket for work.
Yeah.
So the pellet grill is, you put it on a temperature, and you set it, and it's good to go until you're done. All right. There's no maintaining it. There's no having to go out and stoke the fire.
Is the Rotime the Showtime rotisserie. It's the same way. You set it, and you forget
it. Yeah, exactly. And that's and it gets a little bit of hate. The pellet grills do get a little bit of hate from traditional, pit bosses and smoke.
Right.
People that grew up no, you got to build that fire yourself, and you got to maintain it and smoke it. You stay up all night. You drink beer. You hang out, and I get that, but for practical purposes, it's just as good, maybe even better than that. Your temperature control is controlled by a computer.
Yeah.
And I know it's not as, romantic.
Or
but
it's manly.
Yeah, but it makes a great...
This is actually a good idea for a topic, Bob, so you can put this down. Listen to this.
I thought we already discussed this before, though.
No. I'm going to tell you what the idea for the topic is based on what you're saying. The convenience of the Camp Chef That's awesome. Like, it's cool that we have all these new technologies and convenience. But what's going to happen one day if someone blows off one of those like things that kills all the electronics? What is that called, Derek? You know.
EMP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we blow up an
pulse.
EMP, how are we going to where that's part of the thing I think that goes into this manly thing is a lot of things that men used to do had nothing to do with like this technology and stuff like that. It was like learning how to build a fire and learning how to keep the fire going and all that kind of stuff. I think that's a good idea for a topic. I'd like to explore that a little more because there's certain things that I don't know how to do that are very manly that I wish I knew how to do.
I got it. And I like the idea of ribeyes too. My wife is going out of town this upcoming weekend for a wedding. So I'm going to be off. It's just going to be me and John. So we're going to cook.
Are fantastic.
We're going to cook steaks.
Those are my favorite.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny that everybody, not everybody, a lot of people think, "Oh, I'm going to get a good sirloin." No, that's a tough piece of meat. You don't want a sirloin. You don't grill a sirloin. It's not good.
You can. Now, you can still eat it.
Can you? Yes. If I were to, somebody gave me a sirloin and said, "Hey, cook this," I'd wind up pan frying it with some butter and some fresh garlic and some clove and stuff like that. I wouldn't put it on a grill because you put a sirloin on a grill and it's going to wind up being super, super tough unless it's like super rare.
Yeah.
To me, ribeye is like that key piece of meat, perfectly marbled, just kind of falls apart when
we can almost do a whole show about meat someday, guys. Mm-hmm. We could just talk about different cuts of meat and our favorites, although I think we've all said we like ribeye the best so far, it sounds like. All right. Well, listen. We could talk about this again because there's something fun about talking about barbecuing and grilling and smoking. It's fun. I have an electric smoker, and I haven't figured out how to make it work perfectly. Probably because it's an electric smoker.
I tried to make something on yours, and I think it was a failure.
Yeah.
It was a failure according to my standards.
But anyway, so thanks for joining us today. We always appreciate the support. If you guys get a chance, we would really love to. If you're a coffee drinker, I think the best thing you can do to help out the show and help out our sponsor, Chris Bean, is head over to newmacoffee.com. Use that coupon code HWT. There's stuff down in the bucket. You can get all the information you need. There's a link. But getting 20% off of your coffee, nothing wrong with that. And it's fantastic coffee. I got to stop saying fantastic when I talk about the coffee. It's stupendous coffee. Is that better?
And it's smooth.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. It is smooth. That's for sure. It's very smooth. So,
and happy Memorial Day, right?
Yeah. Well,
yes,
a week and 2 days ago, happy Memorial Day.
Well, no, it was. Well,
when they hear this.
Oh yeah.
But yes, happy Memorial Day and happy birthday to the beautiful and talented Jackie.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
A week ago. But yes.
Yes. Tomorrow's her birthday. So, yeah.
But not really. The week before, but yes. Again, we're
tomorrow,
so messed up on
today.
Time. Yeah,
tomorrow
that's right.
for today. That's why I need a traditional watch.
See, you do.
And it's got a date on there.
You win. That's what sealed it right there. You finally won the argument. All right. So like we said, thanks for listening. We do appreciate all the support, and it's been really awesome just to have everybody be a part of what we're doing. Anytime you want to talk with us, we're available. You can check us out on Facebook, YouTube, any one of your podcast apps for sure. Just look us up. We're there. And email us. HeyWe'reTalking@gmail.com. Nobody does that, though. I wish we could get a little email thing going. I would like to do like a send us questions or ask me anything. Maybe we'll do that on a Facebook Live coming up here. That sounds like a good
That'd be good, like a Q&A.
Yeah.
Ask me anything.
Exactly. There you go. So thanks again for listening. We will talk with you guys soon. And other than that, have yourself a fantastic week.